Welcome to the channel. Pitch Black, as you all know, just dropped. Right now, the community's doing what it always does, either chasing everything at the launch price or writing off the set as something that's just filler before the big sets come out later this year. Both groups are going to think twice about that later on. I think there's some real value hiding in this set. Today, launch week, is maybe the single worst time to buy. I'm going to show you exactly what's worth looking at and why you should wait. Welcome back to the Poke Ticker. Let's see what the market's telling us. Right now, I'm on the PokeBeach site here. They put together a great article going over the full set list. As you can see, the Zarude is being pulled out and added to the ETB. But additionally, we're going to scroll down here to the cards. But you can see some of the special illustration rares that are going to be included in this set. So there's some really nice ones. I think the cute collectors are gonna actually find some value in here. And I'll show you that I'll show you some of the cards that I would keep an eye on, but obviously now is not the time to buy it. It would be waiting for at least, I would say, 4 to 6 weeks, if not longer, when we get a little bit further into the fall to start picking these things up, unless you're opening the packs. So keep that in mind as you think through what you want to buy, what singles you're looking at, but just want to kind of share what the cards are in the set. Obviously, everyone knows that the big card, the chase card of this set, is the Mega Darkrai. I'm going over the Abyssai, or the Japanese version, just because there isn't any data yet on the set that drops on the 17th. This will just give you a little highlight of what's going to happen on the Pitch Black side, on the English side. But as you can see, big dip here in the first several weeks. It's maybe starting to level out. We won't know for sure. I would expect even a bigger drop going forward on the Japanese side as the English comes out this weekend. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to collect the Japanese. But for the American side, or excuse me, the English side, I would expect a very similar chart trajectory here. So obviously everyone will be, going after this card, but there's some other ones in here that are really nice. For one is the Morpeko EX. I think, again, the cute collectors out there are going to really like this one. The Morpeko is looking a little fierce, but it still has kind of that nice style. It's a more of the cutesy type Pokemon. And, you can see here it's got about a $61 market price right now, but you can see that big drop. And again, I would expect a little bit more on the Japanese side. But the English will follow the exact same trajectory here, especially being, a middle of the summer set when the market's, in a little bit of a lull and everybody is really focused on those leaks from the 30th anniversary and looking forward to that. So if you're looking at cards in the set, it might be really nice to pick up some of the cards you are considering right around when the 30th anniversary comes out. The other card I'd really keep an eye on here is the SIR Mega Zeraora. Pretty popular Pokemon. He has some cool cards going back to his history. Specifically, I always think back to the Chilling Rain alternate art that he has that's, from behind looking out over the scenery. It's a really cool one, but again, just following the same chart here. It's a big downswing. As closer as the English deck goes out, the Japanese always kind of does this. So just keep that in mind when you're searching. And then lastly, for the SIRs that I would keep an eye out for is the Chandelure. This one is big in the recent games. So there's some younger fans out there who probably want this in their collection. Personally, I think it's a little boring on the art side, but it is a more popular Pokemon from the games that's prominently featured here. So, and it makes sense in the Pitch Black set with the other Pokemon. Again, same chart, right now in the Japanese 31. So just keep that in mind. And then I know lots of people have covered this, but it's a little disappointing Misty didn't get an SIR in this set. I do think some people will want to collect this because there are, a lot of Misty fans out there. Right now it's 45. The trainer cards always get a little bit more love in the Japanese side than the English, so I'd expect this to be, much lower in the English side. And then just covering a few of the illustration rares. There's only, I believe, 6 in the whole set, so not too many. But again, going back to the cute Pokemon, this is I believe, the first illustration rare that Goldeen has received. So a bunch of Goldeens in the ocean. Kind of a cute card. I expect it to just be a few bucks, maybe $5 at most on the English side when it comes out. Again, on the cute jungle-y side, here's Toucan. He's looking a little menacing in my opinion, but still kind of a fun art style, more of a cutesy Pokemon. You know, again, it'll just be a couple bucks in English as well once it comes out. And then lastly, the one I want to focus on here is the Fomantis. Again, look at all the flowers here. Anyone who is collecting, you know, more of that cute type Pokemon, this will be something that they'll want to pick up. Again, it'll be just a few bucks in English, follow a similar trajectory. So I wouldn't buy any singles, at least for several weeks here. You know, 4 to 6 would be my suggestion. Get through that initial wave and drop from Pokemon Company and all the distributors out there, and everyone will have their fill. This set I would anticipate will follow the same kind of trajectory and style as both Perfect Order and Chaos Rising. The last 3 sets, you know, I don't want to call them filler sets, but they have been more underwhelming than the previous ones that were put out by in the Mega Evolution block. I think that's been on purpose by the Pokemon Company as they get ready to do the 30th anniversary, right? Everybody's thinking ahead of that. If you have singles within even the last Perfect Order, Chaos Rising, or Pitch Black, now would be a good time to start thinking about picking those up when the 30th anniversary comes out, because I would anticipate, based on prior examples with the 25th anniversary, other large sets that they've done over the last few years, these less popular ones will drop in price, and it'll be a perfect time to pick up. When everybody's zigging, you should zag, and just keep in mind which cards from these sets that you think are great and you want to collect, and then use that time to pick them up. And then lastly, here's just kind of the buyer's guide on the TCGPlayer. Going through Pitch Black, it'll get its full assortment of products here. You know, the 3-pack blisters, ETBs, that comes with the Zarude card. That's kind of cool. So another one to keep in mind that you can easily pick up. And then I anticipate the booster boxes being low. So one thing that I try to collect is at least a booster box from my favorite sets or the generations that I really like. I've been trying to do that with the Mega Evolution side. It should be fairly easy to pick this up in a few weeks. I would say, you know, in the initial wave, it'll be a little more expensive, and then it'll probably drop a little closer to MSRP. You know, nothing ever gets down to MSRP anymore, but, you know, maybe around $200 or slightly under $200 you could pick this up because the Pokemon Company, as you know, has not been reprinting booster boxes. And so then lastly is just going through kind of the market price right now, or what they expect it to be. So about, you know, $11-12 for booster pack. I would stay away from loose packs, but, you know, it's out there. You can see right now, you know, $250 to $270. Like I said, this will come much further down. And then the ETB, this is really high. Obviously, once it comes out on the 17th and this weekend, these prices I anticipate to drop some. Just be patient with the 30th anniversary coming up. All these things will come down, and you'll have an opportunity to pick up this set. I just wanted to kind of go through this, you know, the top cards, the products that'll be out there. Let you know that this will follow the typical trajectory of new sets. Obviously, very expensive when they come out, and then over the next several weeks, going down to a more reasonable price, and especially the Pitch Black set, and then the two prior sets as well, just because of the 30th anniversary coming out, and everybody is they're so focused on that set and what they want to collect from that. Make sure that you take advantage of that distraction. If you have cards within here that you want, use that as a time to pick them up. Let me know if you're thinking about getting Pitch Black, if it's something that you like, if there's cards in there that you're trying to collect. But otherwise, I'll see you on the next video.